Hello, hello, hello. And how are you? Welcome back to a fresh start. I hope your weekend was amazing. It was the resurrection season, and I'm sure that the children and those who were participating in that really enjoyed the time of going to the sanctuary and learning about the real reason of the real reason for that this season. And I definitely enjoyed it. It was just awesome. The speaker brought a beautiful message about getting up, and we talked about it even in the ministry that I have, uh, that the Father gave me. And so I want you all now to bring your minds. You heard all of the sermons on Sunday. You've probably done a lot of the Holy Week all week. So I'm going to go in another direction, and I hope you stay with me. Um, we've already prayed, and so I'm going to go right on into uh, what we want to talk about today. I want to ask the question: What does transformation mean to you? And while you're thinking about that, I hope you have your mug. You see mine. Every day is a fresh start. Mm, that's so good. Every day is a fresh start. If you don't have the mug that says every day is a fresh start, I hope you do have a mug and we can enjoy our coffee time together this morning. Many of us are getting ready to get back into work and what have you. So uh, we want to definitely uh, move right along. Thank you for being with me as you prepare for your day. Excuse me. What does transformation mean to you? What does transformation mean to you? Now, many of us know what transformation means, but have we really thought about it? And then have we really, in thinking about it, have we really looked at it in terms of us? We've talked about a lot of fresh starts, fresh start in how we think, fresh start in our definition, fresh start in how we deal with people now that we are changing. And so, in that, with that said, we are focusing on tolerance this week. Tolerance. And sometimes we don't understand that the things we tolerate define us. The things that we tolerate define us. Okay? We don't get it. That the things that we tolerate define us. I didn't know it. You know, I was thinking that, and this was what I was taught to a certain extent, that you have to have patience, and people are people, and you have to understand, that people have uh ways and behaviors just like you do, and on and on and on, okay? But when I began my walk or my journey in defining myself. The patience with people is one thing, toleration is another. Patience is grace. With, you're giving people the same grace you give yourself if you were dealing with that situation. Okay. But tolerance takes it out of the ballpark. Excuse me. And what we have to do is that where that fine line is between tolerance and patience. We have patience with our children. They're growing and they're learning and all this kind of thing. But when it comes to tolerance, you're saying to somebody, however you want to treat me is okay. I'm going to deal with it. That's not what we want. That's not the message that we want to send. And that's not the definition that we want people to have, that we'll just put up with anything. As I started off saying, I was taught, because I grew up in the church, in Christendom, and we were taught, Jesus has patience with us, and we got to have patience with people, and yada, yada, yada. So as a little child, you're thinking, okay, well, I got to give people time to do what they do, blah, blah, blah. And that's what happened. However, with that came, people thinking wrong thoughts, people assuming stuff that wasn't the truth. And I had to deal with the consequences of being tolerant. Okay? When you have a fresh start, you have to know where that line is of ending the patience, and now we are over into tolerance. Tolerance is, I don't like it, but I'm going to put up with it. You feel me? That's not what we want. You don't want that. Okay? That's not what you want. Me having patience, all right? Going back to us raising our children, those of us who have them. You had patience with your child as you were trying to teach them, different things. But when you knew that you had gotten to a point where enough patience had been extended, enough grace had been extended, then you sit and you got another tone in your voice that said, listen, now we've been over this enough. You know this. Why you playing, I don't know. But you know this. You know this. Okay? With that said, you have to understand that it's the same with people in general, not just children. Now, yeah, we get it. Everybody hasn't been raised in the same frame that or same infrastructure that your family raised you in. We got that. We also understand that people's mindset are totally different because they were not raised in the infrastructure you were raised in. Okay. However, here's the piece. When that's the case, you have to know when you've given enough grace and when people are just stubborn and don't want to see. Okay, they don't want to see. I'm sorry, y'all, my eye. And or either they just really are having a struggle trying to get to what you want them to understand. And you have to know where that line is. When you've spent enough time, you have to know when you've spent enough time trying to get them to understand not this, but your behavior. For example, they keep calling and asking you to go somewhere with them that you've already told them that's not your flavor anymore. They ain't they I don't mean no harm, but just don't even bother to call and ask me about that because I know that's where I used to go, but I don't have a flavor for that anymore. And they've called you 3 or 4 times about the same place, and you've had the same answer. That's grace. Now, this fifth time they call, you have to say to them, listen, I've told you 3 or 4 times previously, that's not my flavor, and I'm not going to change my mind. Yeah, but I'm not changing my mind, okay? Don't call and ask me again about going with you to this particular place. I'm not going. The same answer you've gotten the last 3 or 4 times, you will continue to get if you call me 6 or 7 more times. So let's don't waste time. I don't have time to waste time. Because what you don't want me to do is see your number and don't answer because I know you calling to ask me the same question. We don't want to get to that point. So let this be it now. Find somebody else that, still has that flavor. Take them with. But I want you to go. I'm not going. And we're not going to keep discussing this, okay? I have things to do. I took a minute to answer. Now I've got to get back to what I was doing. We'll talk later. Bye. And that's it. That's it. Now, you may have to go to the extreme of seeing their number and not answer the phone. Hopefully, you don't have to go that far. Okay? But if you do, it's your fresh start. Nobody can judge you for the decisions that you make to define your fresh start, this new flavor that you have now. You don't have the flavor you used to have. You now have the flavor of something new. And I want you to understand that. Because transformation is change. Now, I agree. People have withdrawal symptoms. They're used to you being who you were. But that's the point. It's who you were. It's not who you are. And because people just lock you in that particular era of your life, a lot of times they don't want to see you in a new light. And you got to be all right with them not wanting to see you. And you just say, well, okay, when you get ready to see me as who I am, we'll talk. Hmm. We'll talk. Because I don't have time to keep going over the same thing over and over and over. That's when that line of patience, okay? That's when that line of patience moves into tolerance. Because here's what you're doing. You've already said 3 or 4 times, that's not my flavor. That's grace. Because y'all been going there for 10, 15 years. And now you're not going. Got it. Okay. So what we do is, we give that grace. But now if you continue on with this, it crosses the line over into tolerance. And even though you're not going with them and you done told them you're not going with them, you keep tolerating the phone calls. That's where you have to just stop. So the 5th time, let's just say you've told them 3 times already. Now here is you've told them 4 times. Here's the 5th time, because the 4th time that you told them, you let them, you gave that warning. Don't let me have to get where I don't pick up the phone when you call. So now here is the 5th time that they are calling you. You get on the phone. Hey, what's up? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, listen, I know you said that, you didn't go, and you hear it coming. At that point, you got to just stop and say, listen, I've got something to do. I'm not going to have this conversation with you. I've had it several times already. So you have, no. Bye. And hang the phone up. Now you can be assured they're sitting there looking at the phone like, did they just hang up on me? Yes, I did. Because I've already told you 4 times prior. And even the 4th time, I said to you, we're not having this conversation again. And don't let me get to the point where I don't pick up the phone when I see your number. Yet a 5th time, you have tried to manipulate the conversation to get to the question again. Because you determined I'm going. Even though I've told you that's not my flavor anymore. So I'm hanging up the phone. And now what you have to do when you see the number, you're not picking up. You're not picking up. You're not picking up. You said, well, okay, Shauna Grace, suppose they come by. And for those who were just listening to me first time, I forgot to even tell you, I'm Shauna Grace. And that's not Shauna and Grace. That's Shauna Grace. That's my whole first name, Shauna Grace. Okay? The whole name, Shauna Grace. And I'm delighted to have you with me. Now, back to that part. Shauna Grace, okay, suppose they come. Since I can hang up the phone, they feel like, well, hey, ain't no problem. I'll go to the house. She can't make me leave. Really? Well, let's fix that. When you look out in your drive, because if you have a alarm system like I do, you can look right on your phone and see who's in your yard. At that point, you can open your door, go right on out your door and shut it behind you and say, hey, sit right out there on the porch. Hey, how you doing? Oh, fine. I just thought I'd come by and see you. I said, listen, I know why you came by to see me. Let's keep it real. I know why you came by to see me. The answer is still no. Now, you get back in your car and go right back out my driveway. I'm going in the home in my home because I have things I have to do. I'm not wasting any more time with this at all. Whatever you do about our friendship, sisterhood, whatever it is, I'll let you have that. I have nothing against you. I still love you. You still sister to me. But I told you we done with this. And going in the house, shut the door. They can sit out there, spend the night out there if they want to. Long as when you get ready to move your car, they're not in your way. Or they can get crazy and you can call 911 and say, I have somebody that refuses to get out of my driveway and I need some backup, please. Oh, I couldn't call the cops on there. If I can't get out my driveway because you determined you gonna make me do what you say do, then yeah, I'm gonna get some backup. I don't care who y'all. I'm gonna get backup. And you gonna get out of my driveway. And if I come back home and you sitting where I can't get in, I'll just get on the phone again and we'll see, can't we get you out of my driveway and let me get in there? Now, hopefully you don't have to go to those extremes. But you get my point. Your fresh start cannot be interrupted by somebody who's determined you gonna do what they want you to do. They want to do it with you, and that's what you gonna do. Say word. Yeah. No, I'm not. At that point, here's another change you have to come to grips with. You are now seeing the real heart of that person concerning you, which is disrespect. Because if I tell you something is no longer me, I tell you we still, and with me, we still good, but that's just not a part of what I want to do anymore. And you just got locked in on you determined it's going to be like you said, no matter how I feel on my journey, then you've just shown me that you don't have any respect for me. And at that point, yeah, we probably are finished. We probably are finished because I don't have anything. I don't have anything left for you now that you have shown me. Don't mean I hate you. Don't mean I don't like you. None of that. You're still precious. You're still special. But our season of being friends has ended because you have now crossed the line and shown disrespect. See, you've got to be just that intentional about your fresh start. You've got to be. You've got to be just that intentional. And I mean, hey, whatever that right there is, let them figure it out. You cannot pick up the cross of trying to find out, having multiple therapy sessions with somebody who there's nothing wrong with. They're just disrespecting you. You can't tolerate that. You gave it grace 5 times. Not giving grace anymore. Not doing it. That's over. That's done. That's it. That's it. That's my thing. So now, here's where we are with it. Learn the difference. Learn where that line is for you between patience and tolerance. Learn where that line is. Okay? Learn where that line is at. Learn where it's at. So that you will be able to know what's grace, patience, and what's I'm just putting up with stuff now. This is going on too long. It's going on too long. I know of an organization right now that gives 5 chances for a person to do wrong before they actually bring the, as we old the old. I told you I was raised by the old folk, before they bring the hatchet down. Excuse me. 5 chances. Now, when I was coming along, the saying was 3 strikes, you out. 1 is patience, 2 is a warning, 3 is over. How did we get to 5? For that particular situation. If we're going to do all of that, then why we ain't messing with it at all? Period. Period. We have to understand. We have to understand that we are to make sure that we know where that line is at between patience and tolerance. I know it all too well because I lived the majority of my life that I've lived so far in the area of tolerance. I thought, well, the more I take, they'll know, and after a while, it's gonna hit them, that they need to stop. And honey, it never hit them. I got frustrated. I got to feeling some type of way, but I was still putting up with it. But see where I have come to in life now. I tell you what, when I hit my 60th birthday, pew, transformation. I went just like the Transformer. I did. And it's been on ever since. And the walk gets better and better and better because it has weeded out folk that I had no business in my circle. And then it has shown the people that are in my circle where their hearts really are. And I've learned to define my behavior to let them know that's not where we're going with that. That's not where we're going with that. Okay? So, with that said, I ask you to join me tomorrow as we dive into this tolerance, this line between patience and tolerance a little deeper. Because I want you to really look at, am I really, am I really being patient or am I being tolerant? How long has this gone on and I haven't said anything? How many more times am I going to deal with this and not say anything? Let's get with that tomorrow, okay? Thanks for joining me today. Have a good one. Bye.